Some people travel out of necessity, while others travel for the pure enjoyment of flight. With Delta's final Boeing 777 flight one day away, here I talk to Karen Hale, who made the trip to JFK to be part of this historic flight. Hi everybody, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am going to be interviewing another frequent traveler. Today we have with us Karen Hale, and you'll notice by the background that Karen is actually at an airport right now. So she is traveling during the pandemic. She's done a lot of traveling also previously, and we're going to talk about that. And what's especially special about this interview is that tomorrow, Karen is going to be on a very unique flight. She will be on Delta's last 777 flight. That is going to be across the country, and she has the honor and distinction of being a passenger. I wish I was actually there. The Delta 777 entered the Delta fleet back in 1999, and it was used primarily for long-haul routes. During the coronavirus pandemic, however, things changed for the 777. Delta was using the 777 more for mail as well as repatriation flights, as well as getting supplies to where they need to be. And tomorrow is the day that this flight will be operating, the very last flight. Now, Karen, I would like to welcome you to my channel. It looks like you are at an airport, and if I'm looking at that correctly, I think you're at the JFK T4 Sky Club.
I am, Peter, and thank you for having me on your channel. This has been a real experience. I tell you, there's not a lot of people in the airport right now, but a few of us Delta Diamonds and other Delta Av Geeks are flying tomorrow. So it's going to be great fun.
Absolutely. Did you just get off a flight today? Is that why you're at the
did, yeah. I had an early flight. I came in from DTW today.
Okay, so you came in just for this event?
I did, yeah. We're all meeting tonight at the TWA Hotel.
Oh, wonderful.
And yeah, gonna take a swim in their pool, rooftop.
Mm-hmm.
And tomorrow we're meeting in the Centurion Lounge, the Amex Lounge, and then we're meeting over here again in the Sky Club.
Oh, great. And where's this flight going to tomorrow?
It is going to LAX.
Okay, wow. So normally that route is operated with a 767 or
right, 300, 763. Yeah. But this one, the retrofitted 200, I mean, it's kind of sad because they just finished the retrofit.
I know, yeah. It's a great new cabin, especially in the Delta One cabin that they've retrofitted with. I unfortunately never had the opportunity to fly in that particular cabin, just the old Delta One cabin, not even on the 777, because it just wasn't the most common aircraft. I've done several long-haul flights, mostly on an A330 or a 767. And even when I fly to LAX, it's always on a 767. So tell me a little bit about yourself. We'll talk about this exciting day tomorrow in a couple of moments. But how often do you travel? How do you get to your diamond status? Where do you normally go, and where are you based out of?
I'm based out of Nashville, out of BNA, but I also have family in Ohio, so I go through Detroit sometime as well. I pretty much, before the pandemic, was traveling almost every week. So that's how I reached the diamond status for the last few years. And it's kind of tough not to have that trip every Monday morning, but now we're all making it through.
Absolutely. Are you primarily traveling for business or leisure?
Mostly business, but I do once in a while take trips for fun as well. So I've been, some of the other diamonds that I met at an event in Atlanta, I went with one of them to Thailand, not last summer, the summer before. So I've developed some really good friends through this, and it's been amazing.
Great. So are you part of an online community to talk to other diamonds also?
We are actually, and that's how I met you on the Facebook, Delta Diamond Facebook. And then we have a couple subgroups that I belong to. A few people I've met just through the work in Atlanta that I've done. And gosh, you're always meeting somebody on a plane, right?
Absolutely, yes. Very interesting people. And one thing that I like to do in these videos is kind of just personalize things. You know, you see people passing by. What are their stories? Why are they traveling? Where are they going? How do they travel so often? And especially now, you know, during this pandemic, how has life changed? So how many trips have you taken during the pandemic?
Well, I had to a few times for work.
Okay.
For work trips. I can't say that I've really done a lot of pleasure flying because it's considered non-essential. So this is kind of the first pleasure thing, I guess you could say.
Exactly.
But I will say when the pandemic first started, people were a little bit confused and there wasn't a lot of social distancing and things like that. The Delta's really stepped up. Their planes are so clean. I didn't even recognize the interior after they steam cleaned it. It looks amazing.
I took only one trip during the pandemic, and I was completely impressed by the social distancing, the universal use of masks, the constant reminders, and it was just a great experience. And I felt that it was one of the safest places to actually be. So absolutely wonderful. So
I have no fears, and I'm not wearing my mask now because no one's around me. So
okay. And it looks like just off to your side there, we've got a great view of the ramp. Can you show us what's out there today?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I didn't know if you could see that.
Oh, yeah. So do we see any 777s out there? It looks like an A330 and 767 is that out there. So, yep, that's the view you get from the Delta Sky Club right above the middle of the long concourse right there at JFK. And do you know if you'll be leaving tomorrow from that particular terminal?
I believe we are, and it's at 1 o'clock.
Okay.
And it's there's just a few seats left. So that's kind of the fun part.
Oh, that's great. So
a lot of Delta people are on there and non-revs.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know if anything is going to be planned for the day, or are you just waiting to be surprised tomorrow for when that happens?
We do have a gathering in LA at the Sky Club there when we arrive.
Oh, very nice.
And then we're all staying in the same hotel. There's about 20 of us that we communicate about different Delta events.
Oh, that's great.
So that'll be fun. Yeah, great fun.
And what about the flight itself? Do you know if they're be doing any pre-flight festivities at all, like the airline itself at the gate? I've seen many photos of that for different types of flights.
Now we're kind of hoping that there is something. I haven't heard of anything, but we're definitely hoping for the water cannons when we get there in LA.
Absolutely, and
that would be amazing.
Yeah, and this is still a regularly scheduled flight, correct? It's part of the normal schedule, or is it an added flight for?
It's an added flight to retire.
Okay, but anybody can purchase a ticket on it, though.
Yes, anyone can, and then it was posted on the Delta Diamond blog that it was going to be one of the final flights, and so people jumped on board. And there's one today from Atlanta to LAX. And actually, when I was in the Detroit Sky Club this morning, a gentleman sat down next to me. We started talking, and he's on the he was going to Atlanta, being on the Atlanta to LAX flight, taking a red eye back to JFK tonight, and flying on this one tomorrow. And I was tempted to do that when I had the chance. I'm like, told my daughter, should I do this? Should I book this? And she's like, yeah, go for it. And then I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah. Have you been on the 350 yet?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Oh, yes.
Yeah. Still haven't had that opportunity. I've been doing most of my trips. I'm based out of New York City, but a lot of my flights that I take are based out of Minneapolis. So they're generally the A330 or 767 when I go across the pond to Europe. Right. No, I haven't had that opportunity, but looking forward to it. And of course, I'm extremely jealous that you got to fly in the 777.
Be here with us. We're gonna have so much fun. We'll miss you.
I should. Absolutely. Well, I definitely will be tracking you tomorrow, so I'll know exactly.
Cool.
Plenty of apps that I can use to see where you are throughout the day. So tell me a little bit more about this group of people. What kind of other people are part of this group that are joining the flight? So you see all these av geeks. I watch tons of videos.
We're av geeks.
Primarily av geeks that are on it.
Yeah, I call myself an av dork, but yeah. We just really enjoy it. And a lot of our friends don't understand, like, why would you just take a flight? I met some of these people at, it was the jet drag that Delta has every year. So it's to sponsor American Cancer Society, and we go on Gretchen Gazelle's team, and we pledge a certain amount, and we do the jet drag. And I met a few of the folks there, which was a real bonding experience when you're pulling a 757 down the tarmac. So, that's an experience. And met them at a flight training thing for frequent flyers. And we just kind of gathered people along the way. Last year in the fall, we did a mad dash to Madrid for the weekend. We met here at JFK, the Sky Club. I only knew one person out of that whole group. I think there were about 15 or 16 of us, and just became best friends and had an awesome time. And people came from all over the country.
Oh, that's great.
Will came from Hawaii.
Really?
To do this. So, it was, oh no, sorry, he wasn't on that, edit that part out. But we did have a good time, but we called it the Mad Dash, MAD for Madrid Airport. And then also, it was 24 hours. Literally, we took the nighttime flight out of JFK, got there in the morning, and we left the next morning on Sunday morning.
Absolutely. Sounds like a great time. Yeah, a great group of people. And I think you're going to have a great time tonight at the TWA Hotel. Have you been there before?
I have only been in there, but I have not stayed there. But I hear it's amazing, and the pool is really warm. And
it's fantastic. I had the opportunity to stay there twice. Even though I'm based in New York, sometimes I'll actually just go to the hotel and spend the night there.
Right.
To my flight just to make it more convenient. It is an absolutely fantastic hotel. The views from the top, it's just heaven. From the pool. The pool is heated also. I don't know if the restaurant's going to be open, or maybe they're just at 25% capacity.
I don't think so. I think just one little one up by the bar area, or the rest pool. But I think the main restaurant is not open from what I understand. So.
Okay. And how many people are in that group that are staying there?
I'm not sure exactly, but I think out of the whole entire group, maybe about 10 to 15.
That's good. The hotel needs business, so 10 and 15 is more than nothing. So
yeah, I was reading on Flyer Talk though that there's some other people that are staying there as well. So I think there's some Delta Av geeks that will be there tonight as well. So
absolutely, that's great.
Kind of fun. Yeah, it is great.
Yep.
Great stuff.
Yep. So just quickly before we wrap up the today, tell me a little bit more about some interesting travel experiences that you might have had. Any interesting stories regarding Delta flights, not necessarily just with people, but have you been to any interesting destinations at all?
Yeah, I've been very blessed to be where I have. I didn't always fly Delta, to be honest, but I was flying out of the Detroit market at the time, and so Northwest was big, and then I was flying to Houston every week, so Continental was kind of the airline.
Right.
But when Delta bought Northwest is when I started to fly them. And
Detroit and Minneapolis.
I just seriously only fly them or the partners. Definitely. But I think, and since we're so close to Thanksgiving, I'll tell you this real quick. But I had never been to Singapore before, and it was in my bucket list. And I had no work reason to go to Singapore, but I just always wanted to go. And I was in Puerto Rico for work. And I came in on a Thursday night, the Thursday before Thanksgiving, and just booked a trip to Singapore. I got a really good deal. And my daughter said, "Are you coming up north?" Because I was living in Nashville to have Thanksgiving. I'm like, no, that sounds like a lot of work. So I said, no, I think I'm going to go to Singapore. So that is kind of my fun story. I just booked a flight. I was able to fly the 747, which was very cool.
Was it on Delta?
Yes. Oh, definitely on Delta.
So there was it a connecting in Japan first, or was it a?
Yeah, in Narita.
Yeah, right. So
yeah, and then there was a triple. We flew the triple into Singapore. But I just went by myself. I just did something spontaneous and crazy, and you get in really late, early in the morning. Yeah. And then you wake up and you're in Singapore. So it was just an amazing time and journey, and Delta definitely got me there. We had a good time.
Today, Delta's no longer servicing that route, but you could probably get there in some sort of partner, I'm sure. Maybe.
Yeah, you can get there through KLM. They also have a rate with Singair, but you apparently don't get any points or benefits, I believe, if you're flying Singair. So that segment you won't. But you can get into Haneda now because they're doing H&D.
Okay, right.
So, and I also just interesting little sidebar. I was speaking with a flight attendant today in the Sky Club, and I just asked her, are things picking up? And she said a little, but she flies this Detroit to Seoul route to Incheon, and she commented there's typically only 40 people on that flight.
Really? Yeah.
So, I mean, honestly, it's never been a safer time to fly.
Absolutely. Especially the New York City market, it still really hasn't fully recovered like the other, let's just talk about the other Delta hubs like Atlanta or Detroit. Everything is kind of still being routed to those cities. So at an airport like JFK or LaGuardia, where Delta still does have a domestic market to smaller cities, you're still finding yourselves having to connect in a different city to actually get there. And New York City, of course, is doing a lot better, much better than it was, back in March and April when people didn't want to come to New York. But still, it's going to take some time to recover. But yeah, it's great that some people are flying. I'm glad you're able to support the New York City market today on a flight out to LAX. And then, of course, you have to get back home after that. So it's another flight for you, probably the day after.
Right. Some of the people are going through SLC, Salt Lake, just to see the new terminal and Sky Club. But I wasn't able to. I have to be accountable on Monday, so I have to be back. But that would be a fun trip as well. I hear it's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the largest Sky Club, and the one you're in right now is actually quite large itself. Up on the
and they're offering a lot more food choices. They have some hot entrees as well, which they haven't had that in a long time.
Oh, really? So yeah, last time I flew was just individually wrapped, and it wasn't actually that bad, but it was
No, they still have it individually wrapped some things, but they do have hot entrees as well. But they serve you like you don't get it yourself, which is smart.
Absolutely, much safer that way. Yeah, you just don't want everyone's hands on those spoons digging into everything.
Right.
Just in February of this year, we didn't even think twice about that. We go to the buffet in the Sky Club and just fill up. In New York City, they often have the Nathan's hot dog stands there, and just whatever you want, just take, and it was great. Yeah. But times have changed tremendously. What about your flight tomorrow? Is there going to be? Do you know if there's going to be any meal service?
I think you will get the famous salami box.
Okay, yes.
But I'm not positive. I think you get bedding as well, headphones. So I'm not sure. They might do something special for the last flight. I'm kind of hoping that they do because, that service in D1 is usually pretty good.
Absolutely, yes.
And I miss the cheese platter and port wine, definitely. So.
Yeah, my last Delta One flight was back in November, and it was just absolutely phenomenal. And it was great. I used my upgrade certificates too to get up there.
Good for you.
So it was the cost of a economy fare, and I've got fantastic service. So that's great.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Well, the 777 is surely going to be missed in Delta colors. Of course, it's still flying around throughout the country. Even on domestic carriers, American and United are still flying that. And at JFK Airport, which you're at right now, a ton of 777s. Just probably look out the window and you may see some interesting carriers from.
You do. It's quite fascinating. See things you don't normally see.
Absolutely, yeah. So, you don't see that much in Nashville, so.
Nope. Southwest or Delta.
Exactly. Yep. So you really great variety there. I don't think the 777 has ever been operated on that route, so it's great you have that unique experience to be able to.
Right. And I haven't been on the retrofitted one, the updated one, so that's going to be amazing. I hear it's great.
Absolutely. Is it a Delta One suite on the?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I actually booked D1 before it got super expensive because I just wanted that experience. But they sold out pretty quick. I think a lot of Av Geeks are on that flight, as well as just Delta peeps and, maybe some non-revs too, just enjoying that final flight.
Yep, and then perhaps the airplane is going to storage. Do you know after that, or is it being sold?
It is. Yeah.
Out in the desert.
It is. Victoriaville? Is that where it goes?
Victoriaville. Yep.
Yeah, that's where it's headed. DCU, I think. So it's kind of sad.
Maybe you'll be able to see it from the air as you fly into LAX or the West Coast. I've seen it a couple of times from the air. So
well, hopefully, I don't know once they retire them if they'll pull them back in.
We don't know. Yeah, I mean, as the market gets better, hopefully, they may start bringing these aircraft back up again. Delta's retired the MD-80s recently.
Mhm.
I think the 737-700s. So, if I don't think the MD-80s are coming back, but, the 777, who knows? Maybe one day, they're not as old or dated or noisy or
Right.
the fuel guzzlers as the MD-80s were. So it will be great to see those back in the air in maybe a couple of years from now when things get better.
Well, if you've ever been to a plane boneyard, it's kind of sad to see those planes sitting out there. I went to the one in Tucson area.
Yeah, Marana.
And they had a lot of 747s down there. KLM had a couple.
Yep.
Just all broken to pieces.
Oh yeah, very, very sad. I went out there quite some time ago, but not the most pleasant thing to see.
No, not at all.
Yep. Well, thank you so much, Karen, for
yeah, absolutely.
I'm looking very forward to your flight tomorrow, even though I'm not on.
Yay.
Making sure that I do track you across the country.
Okay, that'd be awesome.
Yep. And so thank you so much for sharing the experience. I really wanted to get, a view of someone who's going to be on the flight. I'm sure there's going to be a lot out there once the flight actually occurs, lots of videos, but kind of this kind of precursor here to the flight itself. So to all my viewers out there, thank you so much for watching. If you want to be featured in any of these videos, just leave a comment in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that bell button so that you're alerted as to every time I post a new video for you.
There you go. Hey, thank you. Take care.